if we're being really honest about this whole thing, is that like he comes off really charming and like ha ha ha, you know, but he's actually like a complete nightmare. Honestly.
I'm a bully.
Absolutely.
I'm a bully.
No, he's a terror. He shouldn't be allowed to work again. It's the real.
Please tell them it's a joke. I had a great time with these two. I'm still having a great time with these two.
I will say I gained two new friends, and although I'm the only person that keeps our group chat alive,
I really wanted to dig out the Nintendo Wii as well.
Really?
Bring out the
The Wii
yeah,
tennis.
the Wii tennis.
Yeah.
That's the extent of my tennis background.
I love it.
Yeah.
I insist he delivered the best performance in this film. I know that.
Yeah.
100%. My character's the best. He's the most innocent. I'm amazing. That's it.
This is what all we've been trying to get him to do this whole time.
Yeah, finally admit it.
That's the most truthful you've been this whole time.
We got him.
We got him.
Why do you think you were chosen for your role?
Churros.
Yeah, churros. I actually don't know. One of the things that like baffled me. But both Z and Luca, independently of each other,
yeah.
their first thought when they
Before I
went
even
to
met
Patrick was me, which is alarming. But yeah.
For you, Zendaya, what did make you think of him?
I just thought he was brilliant actor. Like, and I don't know. I don't know if it's not that I didn't know him personally, so I couldn't be like, oh, this guy's an arrogant asshole. You know, he would be great. No, I had seen his work and I thought that he was so talented, and I wanted to work with him anyway. And so when it was presented, I was like, oh, wait a minute, the guy from The Crown. And then when I met with Luca, he was like, so I'm thinking Josh O'Connor. And I was like, no way.
I love that.
That's nice.
For Patrick, I think he's been searching for this unity, this feeling of free-flowing tennis that he's had with art before. It's a huge risk, but actually he knows art back to front, inside out, and knows that he will be delighted and will match him.
For art, I think he's in love with their craft and they have fallen out of it. And so their whole journey is to try to get back to the place of enjoying it again. And I think when we see the two of them playing that final match at the end, they're doing it for the love of the sport.
I don't even want to give a definite answer, because the beauty and the joy of this movie is that everybody kind of comes out with their own version of what happens or what this means for these characters. Ultimately, it's clear to me, and it should be, or hopefully clear to everyone else, that there's something that they're all searching for, that they need to find in each other. It's a passion and it's a feeling that they only have ever felt when they're all together.
Well, I mean, I feel like the film generally is kind of madly intimate, whether it's the intimate, like traditional intimate scenes or the tennis playing. Like, actually, arguably, the most intimate the three of them are is when they're on the tennis court. And I think that was always clear in Justin's script, but I think Luca really got that from day one and had a real sense of like, and that really comes across in the film, this sense of finding that intimacy and that sexiness of when they're on the court and kind of battling against each other. And I think that's why, as Z said, there's a kind of like, the coming together of the three of them at the end feels so much about intimacy.
Well, I actually have thought about it
Okay.
a little bit, and it is to be a clown for children's birthday parties.
It's specific, but I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, great.
If you could give your characters one piece of wisdom or advice, what would it be?
Therapy.
Walk away.
I don't want to be one of those guys who doesn't know when to walk away.
You think art could live life without Tashi?
Impossible.
That's what I'm saying.
He won't accept.
Right. Sorry.
He won't. I thought you were being really formal. You're obviously going for like.
Yeah, like a... Thanks, too.
That's the advice. Whether or not he'd do it.
Yeah, no, of course.
Believe him.
I don't know how far he can get.
I think they all need to find a way of living together.
Well, just double down.
Keep going down the
Just go deeper in.
I think they should all go to couples therapy and just work it out. There's a lot of trauma there.
Yeah. The balloons.
That you can make the balloon.
Dogs.
Got it. Dog specifically.
Pencils. Those are the easiest.
That's a skill.
It's
You just blow it up.
Because it's.
Oh yeah.
You get what? Come on.
Sorry.
You guys are falling into the trap.
I was thinking of circular balloons.
Oh.
A pencil, pasta noodles. I'm really good at
The stage, right?
Oh man.
Oh, easy. Z could do anything.
Oh,
I don't think she needs our help.
But maybe just a push.
To
a gentle
actually.
push.
Yeah, we can nudge her.
She'll find the right project for her that she's like, yes. Or no. She'll figure it out. She's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys better be there. Opening night.
Absolutely. We will be there to
All
support.
right.
You don't want us there opening night.
Oh yes, I do.
FYI. You'll be like, get the I need some time.
Yeah, we did a chemistry read.
We did.
Yeah.
In this very hotel.
Really?
Full circle.
Well.
That's right.
Here we are.
That is true.
Are they allowed to know that?
I completely forgot that.
Yeah.
What if they just brought you in, Josh?
Yeah, I just hoped.
Yeah.
A hope and a prayer.
Yeah.
He'll do, they said.
Yeah, he'll do.
Did you guys have to do a tennis audition?
No.
Because otherwise, none of us would have got the part.
The first day of tennis training was interesting.
Okay. Was there lots of sighing?
Lots of
Your coach just going,
Yeah, but I also.
You know what it was? It was a lot of like this because we saw that he was really good, and so I remember locking eyes with you, like we're kind of not doing what he's doing.
we're going to work on this at home in our own free time.
Yeah.
I live for that's
Me and Mike.
yeah, friendship with these guys.
I had a terrible
do you remember?
experience. Yeah. So it was my first job out of drama school.
How old were you?
Like 21, because I started after drama school.
I was like,
You were an old
like
hand
11,
at that stage.
yeah.
But I remember being in this studio, 3 Mill studio in East London, and I stood outside for a second. I was getting some fresh air, and it just started tipping. It was like sunny, and then it was tipping it down with rain. I was like, what the hell? And I was trying to get back in, and I couldn't get out. I was drenched in costume. And then someone just shouted, get off the effing set. And it was a rain machine. And I was on someone else's set.
No.
Yeah. I thought I was just having a quiet moment, but I was in the middle of like Law and Order UK. So yeah, that was my first experience.
There you go.
I have so many special memories. I think one of those just being, tennis rehearsals every day, working out every day, which is something I usually don't enjoy, but I think with these two guys by my side, it was much better. And just having that rehearsal process was really special. So we hope the tennis looks good to you. You know, I can't guarantee anything, but we've tried our best.
There must have been like a love triangle at some point on the OC.
That's the one?
Sorry.
That's yours?
Really got you?
I loved the OC when I was young.
Breaking news.
It was super
I
popular.
loved it, and I
Yeah,
really
it
wanted
was.
to be Seth from the OC. He was like so cool to me.
Anyone else? Anything jump out, guys?
How many love triangles are you just like consuming?
Yeah, often.
Often.
I usually look up like
bet.
movies with love triangles.
Yeah,
and
specifically.
Welcome to my life. That's what I did. Yeah.
I'm not. You know what's funny? It's like when you get in interviews and they ask you to like pick a song or pick whatever. Immediately you're like, I
Slotted
have never
screen.
seen a movie before.
Oh, Bridget Jones is a good one.
That's a great one.
That is a great
That's
one.
a good one.
Josh is winning the interview.
Right,
I'm
you're
winning.
killing it.
Why is everything a competition
competition.
with you?
I just watched your movie.
Yeah,
Everything is
fair
a
enough,
competition.
yeah. That's true.
I'm
That's
sorry.
very
You
true.
made the
Nah,
movie.
man.
Yeah, it's your
You're
fault.
projecting.
Yeah, I mean, I think men are having to look at themselves more and assess like what we've been getting wrong for a long time. So I feel like that's something that's a question that's on everyone's lips in cinema and art generally. I don't know what this is saying about masculinity, this film, but
There's certainly toxic masculinity. There's,
Yeah,
I mean, there's like these tropes, right, of like competition and ambition and like trying to fight over the girl kind of a thing. But like within all of that, I think it gets, it's looked at through a more in-depth and complicated kind of lens.
I have a playlist still on my Spotify which is entitled Boston Marathon. And I think it's because I think but Boston was obvious. We were shooting in Boston. Sure. But also, I had this. Mike and I went to watch the Boston Marathon when we were there, and it inspired me. And I was like, I'm going to do the London Marathon.
And he did.
Oh, wow.
I did do it.
That's what inspired you to do it.
Yeah, but
That's
it kind of came from like this playlist of, and I'll have a playlist for most projects, but it was a playlist for challenges,
right?
That was full of like appropriately motivational music for sport, and that kind of ended up merging into my London Marathon playlist.
Can you give me any examples?
My poor stomach
Yeah,
is
you,
like
like-
going crazy, so I'm so sorry for that. Actually, seriously, Luca had to give me notes on how to take off a t-shirt. He said I looked so boring doing it. Do you remember that? He was like, he wanted me to do that thing where you go like
cross
this,
it?
and I just couldn't do it. So I was like taking off
You were
my
doing it
t-shirt
like
like this, and he was like, "That's not sexy."
That's so funny.
The ultimate best tennis player out of you three, Mike, because I'm here in the room. It might have been you.
No.
Okay.
He won't take the compliment.
Okay.
He won't accept
I'm
it.
trying to push the compliment this way.
Yeah.
But Mike, no.
Was it competitive though, Mike, at all? Like, or like between
Against the three of us?
Yeah.
Well, you know, we've been doing this press tour for a little bit, and the truth is that I'm realizing more and more that, like, how competitive Z is. Like, like, today we were at a press conference, and she's like, come on, we're, you know, asking a bunch of journalists, and she's like, come on, who liked Tashi the best? Straight up, like,
Team Tashi,
unapologetically.
right here.
And I'm like,
Anybody?
you're a monster. You're crazy.
Listen, Team Tashi over here.
Well, I had mostly just done like indie films. So, you know, we're just kind of shooting on the fly and like stealing scenes. But like in terms of like my first time really on like a proper set, it was actually West Side. And that was a crazy experience because we had 4 months of rehearsals building up the characters and choreography and everything. And then your first day on set is, you know, they shut down half of Manhattan. And they have like 500 backgrounds, all dressed in period garb. There's buses and cars, and like you are transported back to 1957. And it's like you're walking down the street.
They were able to shut down New York?
Yeah, you go down. You're walking down the street from your trailer. You
like, they
turn
didn't do
left
that in
onto
Spider-Man.
Broadway.
That's insane.
You turn left onto Broadway, and you were immediately transported back into 1957. And it was like, oh.
Yeah, y'all stories are way.
It's
way
like
better.
that. It was an amazing experience.
Wow, that's.
Honestly, I actually I had never seen either Josh or Z's work
that's
before working with them.
Brilliant.
So to answer your question, no.
And he hasn't seen it still.
Still,
Yeah.
since.
But they're great.
Well, you know from experience now. You don't need to see the work.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I had seen Z's work and I'd seen Mike's work, but I didn't like rewatch just before, just to like.
You don't have Greatest Showman on a loop in the trailer.
No.
What does make a movie sexy?
Tennis. It's horny.
And what was interesting, we've talked about a few times, like when you're tennis players that have talked about being on the court before have talked about being very isolated on one side of the court, and it's quite a lonely profession. And there were moments in some of these scenes where you feel so isolated and you feel very removed. And there's different moments in this film where Art feels very alone, or Tashi feels very alone, or Patrick feels very alone. And then really at the end, you know, with this the challenger that goes through the film, I feel like they're all just reaching for each other and trying to be brought back together. So, yeah, it was the perfect setting. It wouldn't work with baseball, would it?
No.
It wouldn't quite work.
Not so
Terrible.
much.
Why would you do that to this lovely film?
For me, I've realized that I've become very competitive in trying to get people to feel less harshly.
We were in London
about
and Zendaya was straight up like, show of hands, who likes Tashi the most?
Team Tashi.
Like, blatant.
Listen,
She did
listen.
great.
I gotta support my
defend your
girl.
character.
I gotta.
Zendaya had been that was gonna be her other career choice.
Yeah,
She was.
The people
Yeah.
didn't know.
Don't talk down to her about that.
Well, talk about you, because actually the director says that you were extremely intense in your preparation. Is that not true?
I mean, he was the most.
Mike's the best tennis player.
he
There's
was.
no two ways about it.
Yeah, he was better
from the beginning. Yeah. And also like
A lot better.
a lot better from the beginning. And definitely, I think fairly enough outworked us in many aspects.
And jumping in and
I
doing
will
it.
say it was really nice to have Justin there.
It was no, it's amazing to have the
Because like all of us could then go like even Luca, like all of us could be like, what did you mean by this?
Yeah.
What is this?
And we
what's going on
did,
here?
like, you know, and I don't know, like Josh and me, we have done a lot of theater in the past, and so that's not abnormal for that kind of a
I
process.
saw you in Dear in Heaven Hansen.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
So did I. Opening night. What's up?
Wow, look at you. It was
I was
so
shooting
good.
Greatest Showman.
But
Yeah, keep going. I didn't want to.
No, but I mean, and for that, we had like Stephen Levinson who wrote the book for that throughout that entire process. And so being able to have the writer in there, and like for West Side, I had Tony Kushner on set all the time. And so having the ability to have those writers and those brains there, I'm able to go there as the actor and question to the point of nauseum and makes them annoyed. But it helps me so much.
Is there a certain point where you say to your friends and family and agents, like, I'm never playing a teenager again. This is it. I'm good.
I think that decision was taken out of my hands. I got older. They stopped asking. But I have a funny feeling that wasn't directed at me. So I'll let you guys answer.
All of you can pull it off.
I was
Just barely.
I think
it's
scraping the
really
barrel on this
cusping
one.
right there, yeah.
I bought it.
Just enough.
Yeah, I would say for me, differently, I still look the same as I did when I was 16 years old.
Oh, well, isn't that nice?
Must be nice. And
Just tell us about that, Z.
It works to advantage in some ways, and sometimes, you know, it's a little bit difficult because you're like, well, I'm not anymore.
Right.
Like you were putting it out there on that one.
Well,
as a former tennis player, though, I will say everybody's great.
You played tennis.
He is. Yes, I did. I did play tennis. So
Well,
yeah.
I had a leg up.
Look at him.
the
Look at him.
sun.
You got a real tennis player
I got a
telling
real
you you're
tennis
the
player
best.
telling you, like, I saw the serve, sir.
When I found out I got the job, I was in Ohio.
I know.
And I immediately, like, whenever I get excited about a project, I just dive right in. And I kind of put everything else to the side, and like I am like a racehorse in a way. And I was in Ohio. I called my friend Julie, who was a personal trainer, and she immediately started kicking my ass. And the studio was kind enough, Brad was kind enough to find people in Ohio that would train me. I trained with, I played next to professional tennis players, and they kicked my ass. And I just got my ass beat for 6 weeks before we actually started the actual ass beating. And then we did an additional 6 weeks of getting
some more ass beating.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And so but we all did that, and it was just, you know, that training and that regiment and sticking in with that hard work.
So please feel free to answer this question by pointing, but who in the room is the best at tennis?
Yeah.
Very good.
Who
Always
in the
help.
room
No.
is the worst? Interesting. Okay.
It's definitely.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
But he knows, though. You know that you were like, they know.
It's just
Look at him. He's smiling.
it's just
knows.
work, and that's true across the board. And like, you know, whenever I try to approach any role, it's just that's it. You know, you just do the work.
Something Josh said earlier, which I forget about all the time, but just like, yeah, or was it you who said it? Anyway, it's a three of us, and that's all you see on camera, but it's also like 10 people crammed into a room who are a part of it, who are coming in, fixing our hair and getting the shot, and we have, you know, our camera, you know, operator right behind the camera, who's basically the fourth person in the scene, you know, so it's a whole team of people who are making this happen. And we just get to be the ones who, like,
you see on camera, really.
Did you see the internet go nuts for it though? Have you seen it? Like what they've said about the scene?
No.
Like,
No.
You don't know about this?
No. Z's on the internet. But Josh and I are the absolute worst.
Less. By the way, I know
I
you're
get sent things.
y'all are doing busy things, but yeah, there's a lot of thirsty TikToks about that particular moment.
Yeah.
So I
Thirsty
know y'all were
TikTok.
great, and I want you to
don't have
get all the stuff for it. But yeah, they were like, this is a scene, and your face is the one that everyone like.
so good.
That's a good shot though. That's like a hero shot. Let's cue the music shot.
It was
So-
and you know what's funny is I'm just looking in the camera because you guys have to split.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So I'm just like, and you guys are like,
Making out with the side of the camera.
yeah, literally.
Who was the most likely to break, not in a tennis way, or corpse on set? Just start laughing.
To break.
Really? Me?
Sorry.
Start laughing?
Yeah, in the middle of a take.
It's
Definitely you. It's absolutely you.
I'm not surprised because you spend a lot of this movie right in people's personal space.
Yeah, it's true,
Yeah.
actually. I do.
You are in there.
In there.
I'm really right there, aren't I?
What do you think?
By the way, how hard is it? I'm going to ask the guys this question, obviously. I suppose, how good are you at dealing with Zendaya's unimpressed face? Because I've had it a couple of times. And in this movie, you both get it a lot.
What does my unimpressed face look like?
Come on, let's have it.
It's sort of like eyebrows down.
Okay.
There it is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There it is.
Looking familiar.
Yeah, it's killer.
Felt like marriage.
My unimpressed
I
face.
actually remember
Dark and
there's
true.
one specifically in the film, which is, I think it's one of my favourite looks, which is when I come and say, do you want to go out for a cigarette?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Waiting.
Tap,
and
tap,
you're like, and you do this look. And it is killer, isn't it? It really
is.
floors you.
Oh, I can't wait to chuck some balls.
Yeah, well, feel free to be aggressive.
Oh yeah, don't worry.
I'm also curious, and this is a real curiosity question. How many hours did you spend in the ADR booth doing breaths and efforts?
Oh my goodness.
Because this is a tennis movie. And there's a bit where you just
Imagine-
run.
Because you guys do more.
Yeah,
you guys do a
grunting.
lot more
But
tennis.
can you
than me.
imagine how embarrassing it is? We haven't talked about this, like, together. But it was embarrassing. You stood in
Doing
a
all
dark
the-
room
Yeah.
with people like
What did
this.
you do?
I was doing all the movements with like a microphone.
You
I had to
did?
hold the mic and I was going like, and I'm
Nailed
holding
it.
that good as well. And it was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
Being an actor is very embarrassing sometimes.
You just have to go, oh, how was your day? Cringe. Just
Yeah, cringe.
5 hours of cringe.
Yeah.
Grunting in a room
Yeah.
by myself.
Pretending to hold a tennis racket.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know why I'm like, I don't think you pretended to hold the tennis racket.
Nope.
There you go.
So I could just tell.
I think all of the back. I think you got.
That's me.
Your
I
neck was
perfected that.
broken.
Yeah.
You came in the next day
I had
with
a
a brace.
But it was,
said,
I mean,
"Hey, guys."
honestly, they had to like,
How did they do it? Because all of you look.
they just had they had your doubles play.
Oh.
That's
And
right.
just like rally back and forth.
There were no doubles. I know there were no doubles. It's
Yeah,
all
no,
you.
The doubles. Me.
Not our work specifically.
Sorry.
Our work is no use to
I
me.
love you guys.
Okay.
You know?
Mike is like, I am so not interested in your work. Sorry, I'll work with you to the end of time, but I do not have
I
any
don't want to
interest.
see anything you're in.
There was one part in particular I really enjoyed. We were. It was.
I have a feeling.
Do you know what we're talking about?
Well, no,
What
I'm
I'm about to say?
interested to know what. I'll tell you what I think you're going to say after. Because I have a feeling.
Do you want to guess?
Yeah, can I?
Yeah, go.
This is a very specific moment.
Yeah.
But there was the scene where we were eating churros.
Oh no.
Oh, no,
But
but but there was a specific moment after, at the end of that scene, where we walk off, and Mike tripped me up during a take. It was actually class, and it was so good and so unexpected. But in that moment, I had this real sense of like, why would he do that to me? Because he got me so good. No, but then it was like, it was actually great. It was so sweet.
That was not what I was going
Oh,
to
okay.
say, and I'm
I thought
really
you were
sorry.
No. It was a really nice moment. It was nice.
My favorite part was the scene right before that, when you come in and you're interrupting my serve.
you guys are running
and
after
then
each
you
other.
come.
Oh, we had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah, because it
Feeling
was
left
totally,
out.
totally. You just
Thanks,
went
guys.
For it.
I'll just let you guys. Okay, no, I'm saying
Yeah, actually,
they
though.
do love each other very
Yeah,
much.
yeah, yeah.
It was beautiful to watch. No,
Zendaya, I love how Josh was saying that it was almost impossible to talk to you on set when Break My Soul came out.
Oh,
So I need to know what happened when Cowboy Carter dropped, because you've been on the press tour.
I have not bothered them with it quite yet. Yet. No, it was quite cool because I remember it was our last day in Boston and she had put out the song and I was like, it's a sign. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's sending us off to New York.
But I really found it funny because I also remember, I don't know if I remember this right, but it was like you knew it was coming out a few days before and you'd warned us. You were like, just so you know, this day there's going to be a Beyonce track and I might be a little distracted. And you were amazing. You were
But I do remember waking up that day and I was like, I remember being on set, I was like, it's a good day, guys.
Yeah.
It's a good day. We're doing it's a good thing.
Oh, good shot. Guys, relax.
Showing off.
Yeah.
Yowza.
Yeah.
I think on a second watch, I would think maybe you were the worst. No.
The thing is that we all feel kind of the point actually is that if tides turned, if everyone started going on up, I think
I would be like,
we'd
it's
swing
me.
it back.
I'm
yeah.
the bad guy.
Because we're all kind of protective over these
Yeah,
characters.
that's true.
They're all messy.
I
They're
don't
all
do it
flawed.
'cause And aren't we all?
Aren't we all?
And aren't we all,
Yeah.
doll?
Yeah.
And so, for Mike and Josh, what was it like being victimized by Tashi Duncan in this film?
Well, I don't think. I mean,
I think they like it.
Yeah, I think they like
Yeah,
it. I
yeah.
don't think. I mean, certainly Patrick doesn't feel victimized at any point. I think there's one moment where he feels. I think Patrick really enjoys being played with.
Yes,
because
yeah.
he loves playing back and he loves taking as much as he gives. It's like, I think the one moment I always cited as like something that actually. Well, there's two moments that really cut him deep. One is when he arrives at the hospital to see Tashi, and not necessarily he understands Tashi being like, get out, but when Art stands up and is like, get out, he sees the betrayal, he sees everything, and that really cuts him deep. And then also in the sauna, when you're like,
Yes. Oh, that. Not
I
even
don't need
to
to be here or something.
Or he's like, not even to the most.
Yeah.
And you say you don't matter. I
Yeah.
don't matter.
He's like,
I
not
love the
even-
way you say that.
It's brutal. So those are two. But otherwise, other than that, Patrick is like, come on, let's fight each other.
Patrick is so messy, man.
I think, it's this idea of, what was I talking about before? I said it's this kind of like this idea of terms of like what is attraction and why are we attracted to people, and I say arguably Art is the least talented tennis player, but also he's the most insecure out of the two.
Right.
And to see these two individuals who are so secure in themselves, there is this innate attraction to want to be like that. And so you see Art, in the beginning, look almost the exact same as Patrick and almost behave kind of very similarly, as Patrick. And then when Tashi comes along, he wants to, be like that. And so his personality changes. And then he gets to a point in his career and his life where he really is kind of suffering from an identity crisis because with sports people in general, good. Athletes. There we go. Their career is so finite because of their bodies. There's only a certain amount of time until it's going to give up on them. And so he's at the tail end of his career and he's starting to have these larger questions for himself in terms of what does he want the rest of his life to look like. And, we're catching him in this moment of just crisis.
When your job is your passion, there is like this kind of crossroads, and I'm sure like plenty of actors interact with this at, several times in their career, if they're lucky. I think this moment of like, this is my passion. If you've been doing it since you're a kid, it's like doing school plays, and it's like so exciting and fun, and then suddenly that fun, exciting thing and this idea of losing yourself in a character that, in someone that isn't you, and showing empathy to someone who's flawed, whatever it is that kind of gets you going, suddenly that's also your job.
Right.
And there is a sort of difficulty in that. And
Well
there's a bit
said.
of like movement and adjustments you have to make. And sometimes that can feel like it's pushing you away a little bit.
This anymore
And they
in
are
some
at
different
the
way.
tail end of their careers.
Yeah.
Because tennis is a short sport,
Yeah.
is the truth of the matter. And
To
the
be an
season-
athlete.
And they don't stop. You know, they just go from one tournament to the
Yeah,
next. Like,
yeah.
they don't stop. I couldn't imagine doing that. And having that
You
is how
can't stop. You're on like a rink.
Yeah, and
Right.
having a shelf life is weird, actually. If you think about
Because we
that.
can,
Yeah,
we can
could-
act when
yeah.
however old we are. Yeah,
and we could stop for a while and we could pick
Yeah.
it back
Come back
up,
up,
you know,
yeah.
it really is. But for them, they have a finite amount of time until their bodies actually just say, you can't do it anymore.
And like, you know, I see Josh and Mike as like my friends. I'm like, oh, my homies, like we work together and we're like having a good time. And then I see them show up in like hair, makeup, wardrobe, and they transform. And especially when the camera's on them, I haven't said this much to their face because I know they hate hearing it, but like I remember watching them, like their physicality change, everything. Cause you know, they are all very different from their characters, you know, the people that I've gotten to know. And so I was like in awe, like watching them transform. And I remember looking at the monitor and just going like, oh my God, who is this guy? Where did this guy show up? You know, and they embody it. And then I was like, oh yeah, this is magic, right? And then you start feeling like, oh shit, I really got to show up and give my best because I'm now across from this person who is completely like come alive. So I think it's really those moments where you get to witness your fellow actors like really be in their bag.
Yes.
And that is exciting and makes you feel like, okay, we're doing something real here.
And all three of you were in your bag.
Thank
all the
you.
time. And I appreciate y'all bringing the bromance back. I really appreciated that. Because sometimes we get too cool. Fellas get too cool. Like, give me a hug.
After doing some research, I know that you are quite familiar with birthing lambs.
Yes.
And we have
Yeah,
4
that's
sheep for
right.
every one person, so I think you can get a job.
You're competing with Wales in that sense. I
Oh.
think Wales has a very high ratio of sheep per person. Anyway.
That's
You're probably sure you're winning.
For a second, I was like, the sheep are competing with the whales.
Oh, like the mammal.
Who's gonna win? I also read, Mike, that you can fly. Not you can fly, you're a pilot. So
Yes. I also have the special ability of to fly.
you also can fly.
I can also.
I also have to.
Yeah.
I looked over at him. He's like, I'm like, what is that face? You're really thinking there.
I think, honestly, it doesn't because Lucas said before, he said something today which is very true, which is that his shots shouldn't.
He's gone.
He lost
my
that.
I'm sure we could teach you how to birth a sheep if you
That'd be sick.
Can I be really
Actually,
honest? Birthing sheep's really easy. The sheep does the job.
I thought maybe
You just sort of stand around.
Oh, okay. But I can't say that I've birthed one.
Well, look, we'll work on that.
Do it.
Surprise!
Bring him in, boys.
You're doing that to yourself.
I would like to hear Josh sing "If I Could Turn Back Time" by Cher.
I can do that anytime.
I know.
Not now.
Well, let's hit it.
Not in front of the camera, but anytime in private.
This is so specific.
Yeah.
I've never thought about this.
I don't know. It just came to me.
I would like to hear Dear Evan Hansen again.
Yeah, I'd like to hear
Get the album.
Get the album. You can get the album. What would we like to hear Zendaya
I'm
sing?
saying I know it very well, so
Yeah, he's killing it.
I would like
I'd
a
love
live.
to
Do you
sing-
have like a karaoke go-to?
Yeah,
What is it?
not telling.
Whoa.
What? That was so. Oh, like come
Yes,
on, be more
combative.
open-minded. Yeah, combative. No.
Angels by Robbie Williams.
Oh.
Well, let me just say.
It is Z.
Yes, because I'm the one. I take all the content. I have all the videos and pictures from this entire thing, and B, I'm the only one who keeps the group chat alive.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I'm mom.
I love
basically.
it. What's the group
Essentially,
chat
I check in
name?
on my kids. I'm
I
like,
don't
everyone
think
all
we have a
right?
name.
I'm gonna send you pictures.
It's just a photo.
Yeah, of you guys.
They cut you out.
Yeah, no, I put
she
it.
created it.
I created it. Of course, they're not gonna do that. It's me. I'm mom. I took a picture of them on set with their wigs, and I put it as the group chat.
I feel like one of the things I learned about us three is that, like, certainly if I think back to day one, where we have now established we were all super anxious and nervous.
Yeah.
But
How
I think-
comfortable we ended up getting.
yeah,
It's
how
like-
comfortable.
like-
we ended up- But actually, that was my big discovery. I think is that, like, from the outside, I see Mike, like in West Side Story, and you're like in awe, and I see Zendaya and the Euphoria, and I'm like, oh my god. And you think that these people are like which I imagine everyone sees that with all actors in some ways, that they're like indestructible and like, but we're all a mess. We're all like super nervous and anxious, scared that we're not good enough, like, you know, have like bad things to say to ourselves in our heads, you know.
I think what I learned too is that like, I think at least I know that I like to have fun and enjoy the process too, and I know that like you never quite know like what people's acting method might be or how they might want to, what like you might be like, oh okay, I'm not gonna mess with Mike today, you know, he's in it all day and I'm not gonna talk to him. But I appreciated that there was like also just like there was a joy and like a fun and a lightheartedness, because I feel like we all knew that like these characters were deeply intense and like going through all this like turmoil and whatever, but we were able to like have those moments with our characters, turn it off, and then just like have fun and like not be too serious and too, you know, intense all the time. So I think I appreciated that you guys also brought that joy to what you did and made it a fun place to go.
Have you guys ever had a code word with like friends or anything of that nature?
I'm sure.
I feel like this movie we had a lot of like, because it's really just the three of us.
We
You
had
know what I
lots.
mean?
Okay, I've got one
There
for
was
us
an
for this movie.
unspoken thing.
Okay.
No bueno.
No
This is from
bueno.
Brad Gilbert, our tennis coach. He used to go, no bueno.
And that's when you guys would do like not a great shot.
Yeah.
I love it.
Or not a great anything. It could
it's
be
it's
for
not very
anything.
secretive, to be
No,
fair.
yeah, this is our secret hand.
bueno. What could they be saying there?
So I have a couple scenarios for you.
No bueno, big secret.
They won't know anything about it.
The only thing, well, as we were talking just now, the thing that came to mind was that, you know, like the tournament tour is called the ATP. And if you look at our names, Art, Tashi, Patrick.
Oh, that is so fire.
I actually don't know if
you're making that up or if
I don't
that's
know.
true?
I don't know if that was
no, that's
intentional.
canon.
No, you don't?
I don't know if it was intentional, but it actually just came to my mind, and I wonder if Justin
Did that on purpose?
Yeah, I do.
I want to leave this party.
No bueno. I think we both looked at Mike because we're like, Mike's the one who wants to leave the party most of the time.
Always.
So what would your natural face be?
We were doing, I feel like, was it an hour and a half tennis, hour and a half
working out?
gym work? Yeah. I don't know.
Character work.
But we did that for 6 weeks every day. So, so even if you're like me and avoiding exercise, it was inevitable that I would look reasonably good.
There's no getting out of it.
No, well, there was a way. Actually, I found a way, which was that
if there's
our
a will.
lovely trainer, Brian Dew, who would kind of spend some time with the three of us together, and then sometimes he'd spend some time with you, and then he'd go off to Mike, and that was my time to just have a little rest.
So you're a little bit sneaky.
I was sneaky, yeah, but I back myself on it.
Yeah.
Great. I was delighted. I do it all again.
I don't
he was
regret a
amazing.
single
I don't
moment.
regret it at all. Yeah, so we had to train quite hard, but it was worth it, and it was really important for for us three to spend some time together, and we were all in it together. And
I will say, like, early days, I think we've talked a lot about, like, imposter syndrome and showing up and feeling quite nervous to go to work. And, like, I know for me, like, when we were learning tennis that first day and, like, being on court side by side, and I was like, I don't know how good they are. Like, I don't know what the vibes are. I don't know if they're going to be, like, competitive. I don't know if they're going to look at me like, oh, my God, she sucks. So those early days, I was really trying to fake it till I make it. Like, I was really trying to. And then once, we all got comfortable and we all realized that we were all terrified and we all didn't know what we were doing, then I was like, I could let it go a little bit. Yeah.
We're talking
Stay in it.
specifically.
Stay in it.
We're talking specifically about this like sensual scene, but that's like acting in general. You are in a ridiculous situation in reality, and you have to like trick yourself mentally and have this kind of mental fortitude to be so committed and dedicated to what you're doing that you actually want to try to believe it. Like, that's the goal. That's what you're trying to do. And in order to put yourself into such a vulnerable position, you have to feel comfortable and safe enough to allow yourself to be ridiculous. Like, acting is a foolish profession. If you are good at this, you will be a fool. And you want to put yourself into being a fool, right? So, like, but in order to do that, you have to feel comfortable enough to allow yourself to be in that ridiculous position.
And I remember that we came in one day and you were like, hey, we need to focus on like the politics and the physicality of a tennis match. Like what it feel like. We're actors, we're not tennis players. And what does it feel like to be alone on one side of the court? Or what does it feel like to be sat on the side of a court? And like, how do they eat? And all those mannerisms. And as soon as I like unlocked that and was able to look at it as like, it's a bigger character study than just the like actual being good at tennis. Yeah. It really helped, I think.
All the time. And I think that's what, like I said, a testament to like, I think the people that I'm next to, like being good people and feeling safe with them as human beings, as fellow actors that I feel like have my back in these scenes and outside. And so when you have that, again, like he's saying, then like, okay, we both look foolish or we both feel foolish and like, all right, let's do it.
Who cares?
You know, who
Like,
cares?
who cares?
Exactly. And I think that
That's what we're here to do.
exactly. And that safety is really, really important.
To be fair, I really don't think, and I don't want to speak for anybody, but I feel like we are not a competitive bunch. I feel like we might be competitive with ourselves, but not like with each other. I think there was a lot of support and a lot of like, you know what I mean? Like, I think you made a joke, like there was a lot of competition with your rock, paper, scissors that happened every 5 minutes. Yeah. And mini tennis, but but as far as like the actual work, I felt like we were all very supportive of each other.
It's true.
Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. I am fiercely competitive of rock, paper,
You guys
scissors.
are it's really intense.
And fives. Although you guys you weren't
We
quite
weren't
into
into
it.
that.
Fives was a huge hit on the set of The Crown. And I was like, you know, these guys are going to love it. And I remember I tried to teach you and you
Too
were like,
confusing.
stick to this.
Yeah, this is easier.
Yeah, I'm competitive. Like that.
It's an interesting playlist.
Worst party ever.
I'm leaving.
Really? Yeah, I'm not going to that party.
What did you say? The gym.
That was it.
What did you say? The gym. What did you call the gym earlier? Or gym work?
Oh, gym work. Yeah.
Did our gym
earlier
work?
I had to explain what like going to the gym, and I was like, and we did some gym work. Like I'd have to do an awful lot of gym work to become Bond. Yeah.
Zendaya, Josh, Mike. Actually, let me do that again. Great start. Let me try that again. Zendaya, Mike, Josh.
In real tennis, no offense, I'm gonna have to
no,
take
no,
you
definitely.
because there's no way. Mike already hit me with.
I would hit her with balls.
A few tennis balls.
All the
so
balls.
if it was
break
pelting them.
Yeah. We were really fortunate to have a really good prep period on it. So I think we were training for like 4 or 5 weeks or something.
I think it was 6.
6 weeks. And we would train in the morning and then we'd rehearse. And so we'd all sit around a table, which is really rare for a film generally, but particularly something like this. And we would just kind of like bash through the scenes, and Luke would throw stuff at us and we'd throw it back or do what he told us to do. And so, yeah, it was like kind of thrilling. I feel like it was such a mad experience in terms of the script is like a drug from the beginning to end. It's like a shotgun's sent off and then it just rides through. And I sort of felt like that with the whole shooting process. Every day was like we were not rushing through it, but felt like we were achieving so much so quickly.
Oh.
Nick Kyrgios, who is a tennis player, and who is a tennis player? A lot.
Yeah, he's like the bad boy of tennis,
He's the
right?
bad boy of tennis. He's got a lot of attitude. He's really entertaining as well. There's a scene where I'm eating a banana a little suggestively, and that was sort of inspired by Kyrgios.
When I was watching that, I thought, who have I seen eating a banana like that? It
Yeah.
wasn't Nick Kyrgios.
There you go.
There we go. I love that. You nailed it. Right. Oh,
That's a good question. I think that there's actually more similarities than there are differences in that regard, and maybe you guys can kind of find. That's at least how I was able to, I think, connect to my character in the sense of what was going on in his head, and that kind of.
when you choose to do something that you're passionate about and you choose to pursue it to excellence and to like the highest caliber, which is what we're all trying to do, you know, with what we do, there's a similar mentality with it regardless. And so I understood the desire to get better. I understood the love for it. I also understood the falling out of love with it, I think, is a big part of it as well, and the complications that go along, and when life happens too. So for me, at least, the mental part of it was probably the easiest thing.
Very shy child.
I am still, yeah.
Are you still?
Absolutely, yeah. No, this is all an act.
Am I
We
right?
started rehearsals March 2 years ago.
And since you've had sort of 2 years to sit with it, who do you think is sort of the biggest snake now? What character? Oh,
I'm team
Are
art.
you?
Team art is the biggest snake.
Okay.
Won't be able to change my mind. Do you know what it is though? I think it's because everybody leaves, and I've had.
You just got a chip on your shoulder.
Yeah, I do. I have a chip on my shoulder. There's a few people that I've talked to that were so adamant about the fact that he was the good guy. And I was
Which
like,
is not true. I'll give
which
it.
is
I'll
not
grant you
true.
that.
And I'm like, whoa,
grant you that.
because people are so easy to paint these two characters as the
As
bad
monsters,
guys, as
yeah.
monsters, which rightfully so. But he's got some some skeletons in the closet too.
Yeah.
Fashion in many ways is like the shield, the guard. It's the thing to like become a character, to come out here and do the interviews and do the things, and then I take it off and I'm, they've seen the the other version, which
That's
is
the thing that's like really common with actors. I think, more often than not, we are putting on like a face. It's really hard. Most actors that I've come across, we're all kind of deeply insecure and trying to find stuff about ourselves and hide stuff about ourselves and playing characters that kind of don't reveal us so much.
sense of, she's just so blunt and straightforward and unapologetic, and I am not that. I think, I am most often terrified of hurting other people's feelings or
But it's
making
within you.
someone else feel.
But that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
It's within you.
Yeah,
And that's
I
where
get
it's like, well, let me explore that muscle.
feels like.
Yeah, and you don't have
to
to
rip
cure-
someone down.
Yeah, but you don't have to,
You don't have to
know
do-
what I
yeah,
mean?
it's
Like,
just
actually,
pretend.
yeah, and it's like, well, let me flex that and, like, see what that is.
Yeah.
And it's a nice thing.
Yeah, I guess so.
Has a child. I'll say the bit.
Okay, do it.
We all collectively think that the tennis is the sex. The tension of the film is held by the fact that we don't see those things. It's sort of like, it's like a promise that you don't fulfill. And so, and it's a private thing between them, but we see it on the court. I think like the scene Mike and I have as Art and Patrick with the churros is obviously has elements of that. It's all so charged, like whether it's sexually, but also just kind of on a relation point of view. It's like every scene that they have has a charge beneath it.
Thanks, Mike, Zendaya, Josh, thank you very much indeed.
Zendaya.
We got it.
I think like Z, it's really hard for my team to get me to read anything. And I got period pretty much, yeah. And my agent actually called me, Sam. She gave me a call and she said, Mike, you have to read this script. And I was like, all right, wow, that sounds serious. So I read it. And in those moments when you're like, fuck, I hate when other people are right.
So am I.
Yes.
I actually read the script like a year or two before, because I met Justin in New York because my American agent, I just moved to New York, and I was on the phone to my agent one day and I said, I've got no friends. And so he set me up on a friend date with me. And I guess to kind of like guise it under the idea of like, this is also work, Josh. He gave me a script to read, but really it was just, Josh, here's a friend to make. So we met on 9th Street.
Just embarrassing. Josh had also just won an Emmy at that point, and we were at this coffee shop, and people kept coming up to congratulate him.
They're not real friends, just. Anyway.
What's the sweat reel?
Okay.
Because there's a lot of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Josh, I'll come
There's
to you.
an awful lot of
Yeah. How are they doing that? Is it jug of
Okay,
water?
so to be fair, Mike Weiss would, when they call cut, we're like playing tennis.
Yeah.
And then they call cut, and then Mike's running around the court, doing laps, doing push-ups, doing star jumps. Yeah, with his one of those.
Yeah.
Skipping ropes.
There we go. Jump rope to you guys. That's it. Yeah.
Magic wand.
I'm starting to realise who the better player was.
Yeah.
Carry on, Josh.
So he would do all these things. So I would say 60, but most of the sweat seen on Mike Weiss is his sweat. Most of mine isn't.
Right.
It's cool.
Water.
It's like
Fragranced water to
both
keep me
Josh
happy.
and I were given. We met with a nutritionist. They gave us a diet. They put us. We had like the same. We all had the same coach, but a lot of the training Josh and I did together. And we're like, okay, we're gonna do this together. And I found out just like a week ago that Josh like fully was not sticking to the nutrition. He was eating whatever he wanted.
Okay.
And then like I would be on the bike, and Brian, who trained us, would be working me, and I'd be like masochistic and like going so hard. And meanwhile, Josh is like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. Whenever
And then,
Brian
when
turned around,
Brian would be
I was
looking
taking
like,
reps,
oh, yeah,
which
yeah.
is really important. If you're working out, you should take reps.
True.
Yeah,
The body needs to rebuild itself.
I just love that image.
It's balance. It's balance.
Mike's running around and Josh is just there like, can you just put the water on?
There we go.
Yeah.
Now, Zendaya, I know you
smarter.
act.
Do I?
Do you?
It would require me to leave my house. Who?
You.
Me? In like
Handling
real
all
life?
what?
In real life.
Oh, in real life.
What, the press tour?
Yeah, the press tour, the premiere every other day.
Pro. Sorry, Kirsten.
Bleep.
Yeah, she's fine. Yeah. I mean, she's probably tired because she's coming off. No, I know for a fact she's tired. But she's a pro, dude. She's amazing. If anything, she's paved the way and shown great example and leadership for Josh and myself, who are very reluctant to do any of this.
Now you're
But you're here, and I appreciate your support.
Yes.
Well, the truth is as well is that often Z will kind of back us up, and if we're struggling, she'll take the lead a little bit, and it's so nice. There can be times when we can just like take a minute during an interview and be like, but for Z, it's never off. She's always so. Very impressive.
And these guys, I think I'm excited for, whether they are going to be excited for it or not, but the world to see their talent in a different way, because I think their performances are brilliant, and I really enjoyed watching them and working with them. So that.
How did you make eating a churro look so sexy?
Thank you. I don't know if I did. What I will say is that I hadn't had. Do you remember that was my first churro?
Oh yeah.
That was my first churro,
We didn't know about those.
And I didn't have. We were like, I hadn't eaten anything that day, so I was starving and tasted my first churro. And churros are extraordinary,
Especially when you're hungry.
Yeah, so delicious. So I ate my one and then I ate his.
Yes. So was that not even scripted? Were you just starving?
We would do things like
Because
that.
the churro
quite a lot.
wasn't
Kinda.
scripted. The churro was something you guys kind of found, right?
Yeah.
With Luca?
That was definitely a Luca thing.
That was definitely a Luca thing, but I also think there was something quite funny about, like, there's another scene early on when we're eating hot dogs and I finish mine and take his.
Yeah.
I do it a few times and then throw the rest.
No, people don't notice that.
I know.
And it's so funny.
I've got a theory why. It's because the angle of the camera at that moment.
It's behind.
It's
you guys.
behind, and I throw it, and the paper floats rather than. I didn't scrumple the paper enough.
You didn't scrumple.
Is that your one regret?
Yeah.
Reshoot. Well, the press tour for Lucky Mare is very different to the press tour for Challenges, that's for sure. But no, it's been. I mean, specifically, the filming of it was insane because Alice's film was the first half was before we shot Challenges, and the second half was after. And my body was very different when I came back to Italy, and I had to drop a lot of weight. And
Oh yeah,
but
I
also,
remember you telling us.
Yeah,
And you
and I
sending
was-
us a picture of you.
Yeah.
You're like, hey guys.
Yeah, so it was tough, but they're both characters. They're totally different characters, and I think I feel very fortunate that I got to to play these sort of very diverse roles in a short space of time, and also super lucky to have them coming out at the same time, and hopefully, you know, Lucky Mara will be seen by people, and as will Challenges. And I think that what's been, I think, kind of a nice moment for me is that, you know, the big relief about coming to make Challenges, apart from these two and the crew who are all brilliant, was coming, you know, making a movie in my own language. I was like quite relieved to have a break from that. But no, they were totally different characters, and that is ultimately why I do what I do, like playing roles that are diverse and different.
And Mr. Smooth Josh over here, you know there's fan edits of you on TikTok?
There's what?
Fan edits.
Fan edits.
What's that?
It's like videos of you doing like different roles and with like beautiful music in the background.
Oh, really?
And they're loving you on TikTok as well. Yes, literally.
Beautiful music. What's the music?
It's like
Spice Girls.
Yeah, that kind of vibe.
Can I make a confession?
Yes.
He makes those. Josh O'Connor's fan edits.
You're the founder of the fan club.
Yeah.
I knew it.
And I employ him.
He's doing it every day. That's why he keeps saying, "Oh, I didn't sleep that well. He's been up late editing fan videos of Josh."
I played an American. That was incredible to watch. I read that you grew up outside of London, Cheltenham. Was it?
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm a Southwest girlie as well. I'm from Bristol.
Oh,
and I think you went to Bristol Old Vic.
Yeah,
didn't you?
I did,
as well.
I asked him about his accent. I was like, "Why don't you?"
I used to have
sound
more
like
of
where
one.
you're from.
I used to have more of one.
Yeah.
Went to drama school
And then it disappeared.
Sound posher.
Yeah.
I know you met her a couple of weeks ago, Iga Swiatek, the one-on-one. So she had quite a deep
Hi,
one, I think.
it's Iga here. So as you were preparing for the Challengers movie, what would you say are the similarities between the life of a professional athlete and an actress?
That's a beautiful question. This is so cool. Yeah, I was really lucky to meet her at Indian Wells, and she was so nice. I'm sure she would probably say the same about the weird work that I do, but when I watch her, I can't imagine what it must be like to be out on that court and have all these people watching you and having to perform at such a high level and keep your composure and stay so focused. And of course there's similarities. I think it's just different worlds, but I have a lot of respect for what it takes to do your work in front of the world. I definitely understand.
We've got the last one. You got a video.
Eric Cantona went into acting post-playing career at Manchester United. Which of the current squad do you think would be able to follow in his footsteps as an actor?
God, that was so cool.
Well, do you know who Rio Ferdinand is?
He's absolutely legend.
Yeah, legend.
Great centre back. This is gonna be so rude, but Bruno Fernandes does a great fed up acting. He's always throwing his arms about. So he probably
the drama?
Yeah, he's got the drama. I always remember the first time I actually read it, like a while before it was anywhere near being made. I just moved to New York, and someone said, my agent said, "Do you want to meet up with this guy Justin? Have I told you this? Meet up with this guy called Justin and make a friend in New York." So I met Justin 2 years before this all happened, and I just read his script, and he was like, "Who do you like out of the guy characters?" And I was like, "I don't like either of them." And here I am.
But I would like to play Tashi.
I would like to play Tashi. I'm interested in Tashi. But now I love them all, and it's really funny how we've experienced a lot of people coming out and having like a favourite, or you know, someone they're like, more often than not they come out and they have one character they're like, that person is awful, and we really have to fight for that character, don't we? But yeah.
Congratulations, you work a
very
lot.
much.
You work a lot.
I have been like, up until right now, I've been correcting people, being like, well, obviously my body double had. But I'm now just going to say thanks. Like, I don't know why I put myself down. I'm be like, yeah, you're right, thanks.
You're like, I am good.
I am, brilliant. See this, but I've got a very good friend who did, which was breaking up with someone via another friend with a bar of chocolate to say something.
Hardcore.
It's outrageous. No, it's like a different.
You gotta
I
get
guess,
creative.
Yeah. But it's a different thing. I still kind of astonishes me. I'm not that old, and like
How
so
quickly,
much isn't that kind of insane? Yeah. Like I remember having my first mobile phone and being thrilled. And it was like that. I was thrilled because it was the smallest one of all my friends, and that was what the ambition was to have the smallest thing. And it was about that big. And then, like a year later, someone turned up with a camera on their phone, and I was like, but
You're done.
It was like the worst now. I mean, then it seemed like high tech, but it was the
For
worst.
me, it was a
camera.
sidekick. That was all I wanted.
Sidekick. I like the Nokia brick, and I play Snake.
Or the Motorola Razor. Do you remember
Razor,
that?
Tashi has a Razor. There actually is one shot because I pride myself on the fact that like I try to keep my continuity the same. So it's like, oh, I put my hair behind my ear at this take, so I need to remember to, and reset my hair. So I try my best to I moved that then, or I try my best to do that. But there's one thing, and I'm not gonna say it because I don't want people to, do you know what I mean? But there's one take where my hair moves from behind my ear in front of my ear, and I'm like, oh.
Do y'all notice that?
I do.
I definitely notice it.
Yeah.
I do, but hopefully other people don't. Hopefully they're enjoying the performances and not.
Just you, us, and Baz Luhrmann.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say congratulations to you. I love that Celine.
And it's like, that's the magic of filmmaking, is what comes out on screen. I agree with you. When I was watching it, it's like really racy and really exciting and on the edge of your seat. In reality, we laugh that there's always like, the three-way kiss scene is like, there's a guy really close to us. We're holding a boom.
And a
boom
camera.
That's what I want to know, yeah. And a camera
and
right
also
here,
like
and
that's coming in between them that they have to like separate, and then I have to like move. So
There's choreography.
It's a dance.
It's a
but
dance.
It's not just the three of us. It's
Yeah.
a whole crew also.
I know Serena watched it. Have you talked to her?
I did.
And what'd she say?
She hated it.
She said, well,
She loved me.
one thing I will say, she did love art. She called Patrick Pat. And I will say that she said, she was like, I know there definitely wasn't real balls.
Oh.
So.
Oh, so she was
she
watching.
She knows.
She was watching.
She's the best
you
of the best.
Expect those guys.
I mean,
to
hello.
pick up on it,
Yeah. But she did say that it was great, considering that like I had never touched a tennis ball before.
Out of the three of you, who was the best at tennis school and training? Who are we pointing at? Really, the guy, fellas. Okay. So if you guys played in a match today, who would take?
Oh no,
it?
sorry. Don't be deceived. He pointed generally over here.
Okay.
Just because
he's being.
There's no two ways about it. Mike is the best tennis player.
Are you modest, Mike?
No.
He is.
Here's what I'll say.
Why can't you just admit it, dude? Because we suck. There was just no.
Well, let me answer his question really quick, because you asked who would win in a game of tennis. That's not necessarily indicative as to who would win, because in tennis, you're actually only as good as the person you're hitting against. So if you're playing with people that suck, you suck.
Okay, but so they're good.
Except that
They
Mike
are.
would still win, because if he did one serve, I'd run.
What's the friendship dynamic like between you three in real life? So far, so good, I'd say.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I'm definitely lucky to be partnered with these guys. I think from the beginning, whether it be working through the scripts together or tennis or whatever, I think everybody really had each other's back and feels super supported. So yeah, I think we got a good group.
Well,
how did you manage to do that?
I do not know. To be honest, you know what? We worked really hard at trying to look like tennis players. Mike does look like a tennis player. He won't admit it, but he legit was the best. So many of the characters I played before, I got into a real pattern of like in every interview, people would say, because it was on The Crown, but also other roles where they'd be like, and he's really like your character in this film or whatever you're doing on the play, is like really dragged down and like insecure and scared and fearful. And I was like, yeah, I need to do something else.
Yeah.
So like to play someone who's like none of those things.
I love the short story. That's like, that's great.
Oh yeah. So I was given these short shorts I wear in the film. I was like presented with them, and I was like, there is no way in hell I would ever wear those shorts. And Jonathan Anderson, who designed the costumes, was like, but Patrick absolutely would. And Lucas said the same thing. And actually, when I put them on, I was like, of course he would. And I have to like feel so confident in these. And it sort of forces, sometimes the power of costume can be so big because it can force you to be confident or sit into that character in a way. That's tough. I think Patrick, in the world of the movie, I think Patrick's big serve tick at the end is like a pretty big power move.
Finish it.
Finishes it. Well, actually,
But it
like,
honestly,
starts
it
him off.
encourages
Like,
him.
And I think we've talked about this before, but I also think that's what he wants. He wants to encourage Art to like come and get
Really
me.
play.
Yeah,
that's fair.
But so the serve for me.
All right.
I have the spike, of course, at the end.
Yes.
I guess.
catch you.
Yeah. You're right.
Well, yeah, I got really.
Nothing happens.
Wait.
The movie doesn't end.
Yeah.
But you start like behind your head. Was that you, or were you instructed to do that?
Oh, no, I was instructed to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We were trying to find. I mean, he's got a. He's you know in the script, it's scripted that he has a kind of particular serve, and obviously, if you've seen the film, that serves a purpose.
Yeah.
But
serves a purpose.
Is it true that when you signed on, you were Googling, what is the crown?
I probably did that.
Yeah,
it sounds like Mike.
Yeah, it sounds more like Mike. No, I had seen The Crown.
Okay.
And upon reading it, I remember thinking to myself, I said, you know who would be great? And I was like, the guy from The Crown. and I became aware of his work, and it was Josh O'Connor. So, and here he is. So manifesting, you know.
I wouldn't be surprised if Mike had to Google
Literally
the crown.
Google.
Yeah.
I did.
Right?
Yeah.
In real life, who's going to win?
He'll point away that
this?
it's Mike.
It's always Mike. He's very, very humble about it. Hence the reason he's pointing over
He's
here.
very humble, but he also keeps choosing Zendaya. We're very much neck and neck.
It's
I'll
funny.
also say, just to cut in there, they're also really lovely people.
No. Why are you lying?
I'm not. You're gonna accept this compliment today, Mike Feist.
Damn it.
But they are, and so when you walk into a situation like you're saying, you feel these nerves and this excitement, but also just kind of terrified to take on a new challenge, and you realize that the people that you're working beside are also lovely people and are kind and are like gonna have your back, and like it changes the game, and it makes you feel like, oh, I feel safe to be able to show up and do the work, and I know that like my fellow actors got my back. So that I think also massively contributes to that. But sorry.
We know.
And the whole film is really them dealing with the grief of not being together and then trying to find their way back together. And they do it in some dubious ways. But
Dubious.
Yeah, I would say dubious is a kind term.
Do you reckon you got better at playing tennis in real life?
No,
Absolutely
not. We were posing for a photo and someone said, do a serve.
swing. Yeah.
All of it, well, you probably would, we all probably would know how to do serve, but we were like, we don't know how to do that.
No.
It was not for like a lack of goodwill. We just really don't know what that looks like.
Someone asked, like, have you gotten any better since the movie? Like, have you been keeping up? And I was like, well, I can't say that I've gotten worse. You know what I mean? Because it already started at the bottom. So, so that's a plus.
Yeah.